Hello and welcome to another episode of We're Not Nerds. You may notice we're wearing the same clothes as our last episode. It's just a coincidence. Today we're going to be reviewing the Oculus Touch, the new remotes that allow you to actually have hands in games for Oculus instead of using the Xbox controller, which was pretty lame. And comparing them to the HTC Vive controllers, mine now have these nice protective covers I got from my brother for Christmas, which is good because I have punched a wall with them.
Like a shameless plug to your brother.
And I flung mine across the fucking room.
Yeah, well, mine. Let's be clear. You flung.
You know what I mean.
Flunged mine across the room. Let's just talk first of all about the first game we had played, and that is The Climb. We thought The Climb would be a really good game to try out with the touch controllers because we had played it with the Xbox controllers. We'll put a little video up of that. And we decided early on, well, what was our thoughts on that? Nathan?
Well, I mean, it was just because it had just the controllers, there was really not much of a point of the game. And I mean, doing the controllers kind of defeats the purpose of having a game like this.
Yeah, so you're looking all around, but to move your arm up, you're using the little joystick, and you're holding your hands with the, I think
and you're having to lean while doing so.
Right. Yeah, you're leaning to sort of have this idea of your body going to left or right. So Philip, what did you think of using? So you haven't actually played it with the regular Xbox controller.
I can only imagine that it was just terrible with the controller.
Yeah.
I mean, with this, you have to actually just reach, and you have to like pull yourself. You have to do all these different like actual physical motions with your arm that it feels like you're actually climbing. And at the same time, you know, your arms are getting weary. Your arms are physically getting tired doing all these type of movements. I think you even mentioned adding weights for yourself to actually get a workout.
I've done that. You playing what do I play that with? Space Pirate Trainer.
I mean, I like the game. As far as like kind of the motion and kind of being immersed into it, the only thing I did not like was just all I saw, 80% of the time was a damn wall.
Right.
I mean, you can stop, you can hold, you can rest, and you can kind of look around and peek around. It's just that I wish that there was just more. Maybe more to see, maybe more to do, but I mean, I get the whole premise of the game.
It's sort of a weird concept for a game if you think about it.
It just sounds really simple.
But I'll say, I mean, I don't think we did an official. Well, what would you give the rating using the Xbox controller, Amanda?
I didn't play it.
You didn't play it on the Xbox controller either?
No, I didn't even play it on the Xbox controller.
Why are you in here?
Because I played. I did Superhot.
We're going to jump to Superhot in a minute. What would you have given it without the...
I guess like somewhere like a 2 or a 3.
It would have been a 5. I would have played it even more.
You know what, Sarah? Are we going to have to take this outside?
I agree. I think I'd give it like a 2. If that, I remember it's like a $40, $50 game to buy it for Oculus. And in the beginning,
it was that much?
It was a lot, and I'm like, this is not...
There is no reason to buy it for that much.
No.
I could literally buy the entire Half-Life collection.
Regardless, as one of my first experiences with the Oculus, this is a weird game to bring out for a VR unit. Especially, and we talked about this in like our first review, when you have something like Space Pirate Trainer and all these other games where you're shooting guns and stuff. One of my neighbors are and all of a sudden you're using an Xbox controller to climb a mountain. Mainly staring right in front of you is a little weird. For me, jumping to the touch controllers, it goes to like, I mean, I'll play it a lot more now. I mean, it did feel like a workout. I'd gone to the gym before I played it, and I was feeling it in my arms and stuff. So I could see literally putting on the wrist weights and saying, I'm not going to go to the gym today. I'm going to play this for half an hour. I mean, I really think you could get away with that. So I give it like I'll have to play it more, but it's like a 3.5 or 4, I think. I mean, it makes all the difference in the world.
Oh, yeah. I really like adding the touch controllers. The touch controllers themselves, like especially for a game like this, are incredibly comfortable because like they fit ergonomically in your hand. Like it's really comfortable.
Yeah, let's talk about that. Do we like them better than the HTC Vive controllers where you have your trigger button underneath? I never liked the grip buttons. The fact that they're around the side of it, and I'll put some other videos
those
closer, and you're using your index your middle finger and your ring finger to squeeze them. Always felt a little weird to pick up like a gun, but
yeah, my hands like after a while of just doing that, they tend to sort of like feel like you're getting carpal tunnel. It's just really uncomfortable with the regular Vive controller.
This is more ergonomic. We agree, right? I mean, it fits the hand. It's less bulky.
Yeah,
it uses AA batteries, What were your feelings on that, Nathan? You seemed to laugh about it.
This is both a good and a bad thing. So the good news is, like, because if the batteries go dead, you can easily replace them.
Yep.
Or if you want and you don't want to end up keep buying new ones, just get rechargeable batteries.
Right.
At the same time, you're going to be replacing or going through a lot of batteries.
Yeah, it feels weird. It feels like not keeping up with all this new technology. You have to have a USB charger.
I do want to say, though, kind of having a simplistic type of less buttons is kind of a little bit more, I don't know. I'm kind of more attracted to that, having more of a simplistic. Yeah. I do like the ergonomic feel to this, like you guys were saying. But at the same time, I mean, we were in games earlier, and we were just like, what the hell do these buttons do?
It might be we're not used to. Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely used to these. I'm used to using this trackpad here and everything. So it'll take a little time to really figure out what we like better. But I think you're right.
Another thing, like with the Vive controllers, of course, they're rechargeable. But at the same time, they're rechargeable. Meaning if you're at, like, say, a year down the road and you want to play a game, good luck getting more than 30 minutes of a charge.
Yeah, you think they're just going to wear out over time? Like
everything with the battery does eventually.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Although they do charge pretty quickly, it hasn't been an issue so far. So, all right. So, I think we kind of agree. We like the controllers.
You can't see the table in here, so.
I thought I heard a noise. Like
that would be the Vive controller.
I thought it was the camera.
No, I actually turned it on.
So are we in agreement that we do like the actual feel of the controls, but we don't necessarily know if we like them better or worse than the Vive controls? They're definitely different ways to do the technology.
They're different ways, but yeah, I myself, I actually liked.
All right.
This is also lighter.
Oh yeah,
it's definitely right. Or the things with the headset. I mean, I think we agreed that the headset for the
Oculus
is a little more comfortable. Too, a little less.
The biggest issue, however, was the setup for the Oculus.
I was gonna say before we jump into any other games. Now that we talked about the controls themselves, let's talk about the setup. No, I would say the setup was. I started right before you got here. It wasn't too hard, but your thoughts on it are.
Yeah, from what I've seen, you were getting really angry with it.
I was getting angry with it because I had to unplug stuff. So first of all, before we jump into that, the Vive works by you plug in USB 3.0.
There comes with a hub.
Yeah, the hub into the computer, one USB 3.0 port. You plug in it actually uses a display port, right? So I can have my TV hooked up to the HDMI and I only have one HDMI port on my card. And the display port can go to the Vive box. And then the towers don't plug in at all because they're wireless. You just plug them in to the wall for power. And that's kind of it.
The issue with the Oculus, however, is so instead of using the room scaling like the Vive does, it uses a second tower that you would normally have at your desk in front of you.
Which is another USB port.
Yeah, so in total you need three USB 3.0 ports.
So basically what you're saying is that Oculus needs to get their shit together and include a USB hub.
Yes.
Yeah,
that's pretty much what you're saying.
And then it also only has HDMI as an option. So because it needs to be plugged into the same card, I just switched the TV over to use a DVI to HDMI adapter. And it was just like, this is a hassle. Like right now I have it, you plug in the towers for Vive, you turn on the computer and you're good to go. And now I'm unplugging stuff and all, so I have enough USB ports to run Oculus. And it's like, again, it was just... Vive was ahead of the game, right? They thought of this stuff ahead of time. They thought of room scale. They thought of everything. And I do feel like Oculus is still playing catch up. And then there's the tower themselves, right? We got two towers, and you guys were there for the setup. Philip, you saw we had to do how that worked.
It was just miserable trying to actually kind of get the tower set up and actually trying to just getting the play space just kind of set up initially. And one thing I happened to notice that. Kind of with the two towers that you have set up in front of the TV is that you couldn't really do almost like a 180, or you could not turn your back to the controller or have the controllers block or anything towards those cameras.
Yep.
Or else it just completely either the visor goes black, everything goes dim, or you lose control.
You have a dead space. Right?
Exactly.
Right now I have the Vive set up. The tower's there and there, so they cover this entire space.
Right.
You can turn in any direction. You can't really even block them because they're up, high on towards the ceiling as well. So it's harder to actually block anything. So let's take a recording of this. The Oculus towers are set up, and this was part of the setup, right? They said 6 to 9 feet apart or something like that. Yeah,
roughly.
And maybe it was 3 to 6 feet, whatever it was. And then the setup that was a pain was it says, they're not angled quite right. So re-angle them this way. And then you had to do your room scale kind of thing. And like you said, you turn around, you have to make sure you're facing them the whole time. With Vive, you just walk around the room. So
And I think I was asking if they had any type of separate accessories, or if somehow maybe you could have one of the towers in the front of the TV and then one in the back, so that it kind of had, it covered all bases from if you were to do like a 180 turn or whatnot. So, and I think you said that they just simply do not have that functionality.
We'll have
right
to
now.
look into it. So I had seen other reviewers say, hey, I don't see any reason why Oculus shouldn't work for room scale, because look, if I put my tower over here, I can use this whole space. As soon as there's one behind me, I'll be able to move around the whole room. Kitty.
This is Miss Kitty, by the way.
Yeah, the kitty called Miss Kitty.
Yeah.
So yeah, I seen reviews and they said if I had one behind me, then the whole space is covered. Well, then this comes and I click on the setup, Oculus Touch, and it goes, put them, not put one behind you or put one anywhere you want.
Right, that was the default setup.
And it even said it didn't like the angle we had, so move them a little closer and it scans your area. The video shows you, the person walking backwards to measure the space, so you're never turning your back to the towers, cameras, whatever the hell they are.
Yeah.
And you're just left going, okay, so this is still, even if you rate it highly, it's 80% of what you can do with Vive. You don't have true room scale. You don't have the ability to turn in any direction at all, like we're used to with Vive. So let's talk about the other game we played, which was a good test of the touch controllers as well.
Superhot.
You wanted this, so why don't you give us a little background on it?
I really like this game. So this is actually, to be honest, the first time I actually played the game. Most of the time, I watched it through like other YouTubers.
Yeah.
Like Super Bunny Hop was one of my favorites.
I saw it on Red Letter Media.
Yeah, and Red Letter Media. I really like this game because originally the way it works is whenever you move, time will move normally. However, whenever you're still, time stops.
Above you. Bullets.
What did you say, love you or below you?
I said
Above you.
Oh, above you.
But I love you too. It's okay. You just you have to use the mouse for everything and use the keyboard, which doesn't really feel like it's the same when the moment you have the touch.
So it's a first-person shooter, but we were just talking about first-person shooters last episode and how they're all the same. This is one that actually introduces a new element, which is
this has good mechanics.
Yeah.
Okay?
What if the world is frozen unless you're moving? So you can aim at that person, fire, and then you move to dodge their bullet, but that causes time to move forward until you stop again. And it adds a new element.
Or you're frantically waving at everything, and everything's like super fast motion.
Yeah, so. I mean, because like with this, like you can physically pick up a gun, shoot someone in the face, and like grab their gun mid-air
and punch them
with their gun, or just pick up a glass ball and smash it over their face.
So
you can pick up just literally anything, or you can just grab a weapon. If you're out of ammo, you can just sit there and just
jab them in the face.
And
punching in this game is super satisfying.
Yeah. The only thing was, and this is my interpretation of it, I think this is correct. I know the regular game you can actually run around and do stuff. We got the actual game and we were going to try to play it on the Oculus, but we ran into some issues. Maybe there's a patch that lets you do it, whatever. So I just bought it. It seems like they made a version of the game for Oculus, which is made for a smaller space.
Yeah,
you don't move in this game. You stand looking forward and you grab the weapons and you pass this little section and it takes you to the next
well, I mean, you could still kind of move around and crouch and kind of bend over and everything like that to avoid any type of enemy that are coming, but moving out of your general space, like you were saying, you can't, there's just no freedom of movement around. Or
this isn't a first-person shooter where you can run 10 feet that way and then look around the corner, run down the next corridor. You're in a little section. And
like Call of Duty.
So that was a little disappointing too. And again, there was no teleportation. There was no even moving with the joystick.
You're stuck in a box.
It seemed that it was set up for you're here. They're going to come at you this way, and we'll send one enemy at you. Then there's two. Then there's three. Then there's three, and two of them have guns, and it's going to progressively.
I kind of want to come to a little bit of its defense, though. I mean, how much did it cost? It was like $25. $25. So you could sit there and just watch Nathan just sit there and bending over and everything like that.
Or Amanda. Different play style.
Well, at least you got a knife this time.
She's actually gonna get.
You got it. That was close.
This is exhausting.
Even if it was just stationary, it was still a lot of fun.
What do you give it out of 5, Philip?
I would give it A 4. I still feel you on that whole freedom of movement type of thing. I would give it a 5 if it definitely had that.
Yeah.
If it had more freedom of movement, maybe involving, for the Oculus at least, the joysticks. But you know, I would have to give it a 4 just based on that. Overall, I thought it was a lot of fun.
Yeah. I give it. Oh, I'm sorry, Amanda. You go next.
I'm gonna go this way. Amanda, what would you give the game?
4.5.
Okay. I'd go 4 as well. I think comparing it to another shooter of that nature, Space Pirate Trainer, which has always been one of our favorites, I give that like a 5 for what it is.
Yeah.
I think I like that one a little better. It's a little more fast actional. I do like the slow time mechanic and everything, but I think as far as just wanting to play something where I can shoot at stuff with the different kinds of weapons and all, I'd probably go Space Pirate. But it's a good game. I agree.
Yeah, I'd give it a 4 as well. One of the things that does bother me, and like you guys said, the fact that you're trapped in a single spot makes it feel kind of like a demo for the Oculus in a way.
That's one way to look at it.
Yeah. Because in the regular game, you can just easily move around and go about your daily lives and murdering people.
I was gonna say, so I got another game, and I'll have to look at the name of it now. I'll put it up. But it's basically a sort of post-apocalyptic zombie. You're fighting zombies. You're in sort of I think it's like Zombie Arizona or something. I'll put it up. But it's a similar. You're picking up guns. You're shooting at stuff. They're coming at you and everything. It doesn't have the slow time mechanic or anything, obviously. But there, you're exploring this whole world, and you're using the typical use the trackpad to teleport, point at your spot and everything. I think it was the trackpad. Maybe it was this button. And you're opening doors and you're looking in there to see if there's any ammo in all these cars that have stopped on the freeway where everybody's gone. You go down into this. I think it's basically like a mine. It looked like it was originally some sort of amusement park thing, but you're going down in there and it's all dark again. I know you don't like dark, Amanda, but you have the flashlight. And I was actually holding the controllers because the way the flashlight was in your hand, it was like out of the back. So it was actually doing like the thing where you have your flashlight this way and your gun this way and all. And comparing experience, like again, like this is a whole world to explore. And there's a section where they're trying to open up this big door and it starts the music because, like I said, it was like an amusement park. And it goes, oh, that's going to attract the zombies. And all these zombies come pouring off the cliffs, and you have some grenades that are like on your chest, and you can pull one off and throw it. And again, comparing those experiences, it's like, do I want to be stuck looking forward? A couple of people come at me and then pass that and move on to the next stage, or do I want a whole world to explore and look for secret hidden weapons and have a story behind it?
Sounds like a 2 out of 5 game.
Yeah, it's all
just based on all
that.
It's
a shooter.
Just based on all that.
It's probably a
Sounds
1
like
because the graphics probably aren't that great and the frame rate's probably 30 frames.
Zombie DLC
we'll
for like $50.
Review part. I won't even get a score yet. We'll play some maybe for next week. But that is the difference to me of the experience I'm getting on. And maybe you could play it on. Well, I don't see how you do it on Oculus. You can't turn around and look behind you. And this is a full 360. People are coming that way. I got others coming this way. I got a gun in both hands. So
definitely has its limitations.
Yes. Yeah. The only way they could possibly do that is to put like the camera controls to the thumbstick, where you use the thumbstick to look left and right.
Oh, there's no way I'm doing that. You know how disorienting that would be?
Oh, it would be awful.
I want to throw up. So anyway, to conclude, I guess, the Oculus Touch controls are fine. We're disappointed that you're still stuck with not full room scale, not 360 degrees. And as far as titles go, I think we're still seeing more on Vive that we're
more interested in.
Overall, except for that exclusive game. Super.
Yeah, Superhot.